first time here, so most of you probably never heard of us. There was a man, his name was Pastor Wendell Wilson, and he would go in and out of prisons, and he would minister to these men and see that they desired to change their lives, that they had a hunger to follow after Jesus. But whenever they would get released, there was no discipleship. There was nowhere for them to go, no one plugging them into a church or to people to be accountable to. And anyway, they would go back to the things that they knew. They would go back to the streets. They would go back to drugs. They'd go back to robbing and stealing and all the different things that I myself and some of these men here behind me come from. And anyway, he's seen this need, and he felt a call from the Lord to bring a man home with him. So one day he decides, hey, I'm going to take this guy. He's being released from prison, and I'm going to bring him to my home. Right now, 43 years ago, there was no direct messages. They didn't have smartphones, no text messaging, no cell phone, none of that kind of thing. Right. So he couldn't call his wife and ask, hey, you mind if I bring this guy home with me? So he brings him home from prison, and he asks his wife, and she says, yeah, he can have dinner with us. And by the end of the night, he asks again, he says, hey, do you mind if he stays here with us the night with us? And she said yes, right? And I like to say that we've been staying the night at Pastor Wendell's house ever since, right? Because of his yes, that man's life was changed. Because of his yes, right, to what Jesus had called him to do, my life was changed. And so many other people, hundreds, if not thousands, because it's not just the men that come through the program, it's their families and their children and the people that seen their lives change and what Jesus can do. We're a very strict program. These men, they come in, they're not allowed to have phone calls to start off with. They don't write letters, there are no visits, nothing for the first 30 days, right? The first 30 days, it's strictly classes, Bible school classes, right? Worship sessions, serving, and going and testifying at churches, right? Getting them plugged in, getting them kind of renewing the mind, if you will. After that 30 days, they're allowed to write letters. They still aren't allowed to make phone calls or get visits, right? After 60 days, they can make phone calls. After 90 days, we begin to allow them to have visits with their family. And all this stuff's monitored. Everything's, like I said, it's strict, right? They don't watch TV. They watch sports sometimes, but they're not watching the news. They're not watching sitcoms. They're not watching nothing on TV. They ain't reading a newspaper. They don't get magazines. Everything that comes through is vetted, right? So on top of that, their schedule is strict as well. At 6:15, they wake up. They meet out on the pool deck to do calisthenics. It's breakfast, chores, classes, devotional times. We have a time set aside that if you've seen our product table out there, you don't have to buy anything, but there's a paper on there that's a prayer sheet, and we would love to pray for the needs of your church, right? All throughout the week, they separate them, and sometimes they may not pray for your particular paper every day, but they will get prayed for, right? Your needs will be prayed for, and we love to see the transformations. We love to hear the testimonies of those answered prayers. At least I do. And anyway, they have a time of work projects. We live on 10 acres, and we maintain most of our own stuff, right? If there's a leak or something needs fixed, we most likely fix it. If a car breaks down, we most likely can fix it. These different types of things, we all come from different backgrounds. Some of us are mechanics, some of us are carpenters, some of us work in the office. You know, there's all different types of men that struggle with addictions that come through this program, and Lord uses it to help keep the place maintained and running. And so we have that time set aside for work projects, and then they get a break, right? They get some time where they can wreck it up. And there's basketball court and a pool that's green right now, but we'll get it back right? Okay. Yeah, it happens, right? Because we're all just men trying to learn how to do life together, and doing it in a secure place where we can also learn how to follow Jesus and trust Him and lean into Him whenever we have problems. So, I'm here to share testimonies, right? And I only got a little bit of time, so I want these men to share what God's doing in their lives, right? And Revelation 12:11, it says, "But they overcame the enemy by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony, and they did not love their lives even unto the death of them," right? Lamentations says, "This I recall to mind, therefore I have hope," right? It's of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed. His compassions fail not. Great is his faith, great is his faithfulness. And it just goes to show that as God pulls us through things, we learn to trust him more. And not just that, my mom told me one time after I had, got saved and went through the program, she said that, and she was a believer for 20 years and a leader in the church, she said she lost hope that God would do anything for me specifically. And afterwards, after what God did in my life, she quit doing what she was doing and went and became a missionary in Israel during a time of war. So it opened up her faith and caused her to do things that she wasn't, it was outside of her comfort zone as well to follow the Lord, right? So in that, I hope these testimonies give you hope and your loved ones and the people that you think that might not be able to be saved. Justin.
Good morning, church. My name is Justin. I'm 36 years old, and it's kind of an emotional morning this morning, but I'll tell you right now, just the mention of his name and things will change. See, I spent the last 10 years of my life in addiction, and the last 4 years was actually spent right here in Orlando. See, growing up, I had everything going for me. I was going to high school, involved in my church, dual enrollment, but shortly after college, I moved away from that, moved away from God, moved away from that firm foundation I had in Christ, thinking I had all the answers. And that led to my life of sin, trying to find myself in drugs, trying to find myself in women. And, that led me down a dark path. I ended up moving up to Baltimore, met the mother of my child. We had my son out of wedlock. But when I was up there, that's when I was introduced to crack. And I'll tell you right now, that destroyed my life. And I was kind of living a double life, and we ended up moving down here to Orlando, right over there in Kissimmee and Point Siena. And things didn't quite work out between the mother of my child and me. She ended up moving back up to Baltimore. I stayed down here in Orlando. I was working at Disney, rolling sushi, had everything going good for me. But shortly after her and I split, that's when she drastically pulled my son out of my life. And that's when I turned to the pipe instead of turning to God. And that's when I was using everybody I knew, family, friends, employers, just to borrow money, just to chase that high, But I'll tell you right now, you got to stand there and you got to face it, because if you don't, it'll follow you like a shadow. And so now 19 months ago, I got arrested. And I spent 2 years living in my car just to get high. And I got arrested, and when I was at the end of myself, I wanted to die. That's when God found me. And I'll tell you right now, he picked me up, he turned me around, and he put my feet back on this solid ground. And so I got arrested. I got put into H-Pod, which stood for Heaven Pod, and they had prayer call in there, and that's when I gave my life back to Jesus. And I'll tell you right now, ever since I did that, it's been nothing short but a miracle. He brought me here into loving hands. He's renewed my mind. He's washed me with the blood. And he's brought me this amazing family that you see standing behind me. And, in this past 18 months that I've been here, man, I've seen so many things. I've seen so many miracles. I've seen families restored. My family's been restored back to me. My sister's back in my life. One of our senior residents, Hayden, he graduated yesterday. He went back home to his children, This place is amazing. It's been the hardest thing I've ever done. But the reason saying that is because, your worst enemy is yourself, But with his love and his grace, I've been able to face down the enemy. Like I shared with you 18 months ago, I had no purpose. I didn't want to do anything with my life. I tried, like I said, kill myself, trying to end myself. But, he has opened the doorway for me. I'm getting ready to go to Southeast University starting in August, and I'm going for my worship studies degree. And so, now he's given me a new light, and and it's just amazing to stand before you guys today and tell you my testimony. And with that, I'll leave you with my life verse. It's Psalms 92, verse 13. Those who stay planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the court of our God. Thank you.
We're going to keep this ball rolling. Bradley.
Good morning, church. My name is Bradley, and I'm 41 years old. I'm from Pennsylvania. Growing up, I had a really good childhood. I was very blessed. I had a hardworking father and a loving, caring mother, and I was the youngest of three. I had an older sister and an older brother. Around the age of 12, my brother got addicted to heroin. I was 12, he was 14. This left a hole inside of me, and it caused me to run from problems and not deal with them. That running spirit followed me pretty much up until present day. I was very athletic growing up, and I taught myself how to pitch. My grandfather taught me how to hold the ball. He was too old to get out and play catch with me, but I developed into a pretty good pitcher, and that was my future. So I thought, until I tore my rotator cuff in 10th grade, and my dreams went down the tubes. So instead of running to a different career, instead of running to something else, I ran to everything but what I knew. You know, being raised in the church, we went to church 3 days a week, and I knew about God, but I didn't know Him. I didn't have a personal relationship with Him, so I ran to everything else, trying to fill that void, trying to fill every void, you know, family's death, friends' death, aunts and uncles and stuff like that. Any tragedy in my life, whether it was a breakup or death or something serious, even the smallest thing I ran from. And I filled that with drugs, alcohol, partying, women, and this followed me. And I was able to get married. Fast forward a little bit, I was able to get married around the age of 25, and I was a coal miner at the time, and I got laid off from the coal mines right before our marriage, and I didn't feel adequate whenever I got married to take care, to be a man, and that was like whenever I lost my career or what I thought was my career, my job identity was shocked again, and I didn't being a father and being whatever our identity is in Christ Jesus, and it took me so long to realize that's the only thing that I need. And fast forward a little bit, we were blessed with 4 children, and my addiction increasingly got worse to alcohol. I was able to hold down jobs until like it would get so bad that I couldn't wake up in the morning and drink or eat anything without first having half a pint of vodka in my system just to be able to hold down. It was so bad, and I sought out help. I went to multiple rehabs, but even a Christian rehab, Teen Challenge, I completed them, but I didn't surrender everything. And God, He wants all of you. He wants every last bit of you. And unfortunately, I had to lose everything. I lost, my wife divorced me. I haven't been able to speak to my children since Christmas 2023. But He's restoring things as I surrender every day. Surrender is every single day. You have to surrender yourself. You have to die to yourself. And I'm realizing that it's not about me. Let me speak for myself. I've been so selfish in my life, in different things, thinking about me, thinking about what I can do, but I can't do anything without Him. I can do nothing without Him. I need Him so bad in my life, and I'm so thankful that I can humble myself and realize how badly I need Him. And this place has changed my life. This is my second time around. I came for a year and left again. Selfish pride, thinking I can do it all by myself. I need Him so bad. And I'm back again so that He can just keep working on me and keep instilling the fact that I don't need a label. I don't need a name tag. I don't need a special job. My job is to be a brother and love my brothers as much as I can, but most importantly, love God first. And He's going to restore those things. Like I truly believe I'm going to keep proclaiming it. I believe that He's going to restore my family. I believe He's doing it now. I don't know to what extent, but I know I'm going to see my children, and I know that that I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be a good father. I know that I'm going to be the father. This is a family. It truly is. Together, we go like true stuff. And leave you with Micah. I appreciate that, sir. It's do not rejoice over me, my enemy. When I fall, I will arise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord will be a light to me. Thank you very much.
Nick.
Good morning, church. Thank you. My name is Nick. I'm 42 years old. Happy Father's Day. Takes a slight second place to Mother's Day, so happy Father's Day. I wanted to, I was thinking when Ben was saying what contributes to the revolving door of going to jail, to prison, why do people choose to live in the depravity of their sin as opposed to correcting things of the heart, and dealing with emotions? Is it more comfortable to be in a jail cell? Is it more comfortable to just spend time in a place that's fleeting, as opposed to going into the recesses of your mind and, solving what the core of the addiction is or problem? Something our program director says is the root of addiction is truly sin. If that's the case, and I believe it is. The wages of sin is death, and ultimately it's separation from God. There's a lot of condemnation in saying that I'm an alcoholic or was an alcoholic. It's perplexing sometimes because you look at yourself and you try to see what is it that brought you to that. Is it generational curses? Is it a matter of hereditary things? It could be everything, all of it, maybe none of it. The fact of the matter is, if you try to solve problems, and I did it myself, if you try to solve problems yourself, you're bound to fail. If you put a lot of thought in appealing to man or appealing to people around you or appealing to the most liked, the downfall is immediate, and it's going to be way more sudden than I think it is, or than most of us think it is. Having said that, it takes a special type of person to realize when we're in the midst of our addiction to catch it in time. And I had some downfalls in my life. I had some good moments in my life. I was blessed to be around people that helped me, blessed to be around an amazing wife who, well, now ex-wife, but I still continue to think that she's the only one that really is thoughtful enough to me and me to her. It was not a shock for me to think that she left me. It's bad enough to be an addiction in your own body, but to be an addiction with somebody or to see somebody go through the addiction, it's helpless. Throughout the process, I've been blessed with family, I've been blessed with friends to realize the change needed to be made. I'm a stubborn individual. I do challenge myself in some capacities and maybe take second place in others. To be in a ministry like this, it takes a special type of discipline. That's the core